most people never go through unless they've been married twice in a painful marriage. But you have gone through the gauntlet. Now, when you come out the gauntlet, you know, what is it? Was it Nietzsche or Nietzsche's sister that wrote it, that says, what doesn't kill me makes me stronger? What doesn't destroy me?
That's a story. You know, a story of my last 20 years. 22 years, that is.
Yeah, well, you're a warrior, and your warrior nature, you know, and I feel it brings us into the movie image of what we're in, because it is a screen, not out there screen, but from what I've understood from brain science, is I'm looking at everything, it's a screen inside, and it's actually upside down. So it's inverted, I have to write it around. So I'm in this movie, and in this movie, you know, the way I remember Yogananda put it, if you don't know that screen, that projection, is nothing but white light manifested, because in the movie theater, if you turn around, everything that's on the screen is coming from a white light. It's amazing. Mm-hmm. But if you don't know it's that projection, then it's a nightmare, and people are afraid, fighting the battle against, and they get wrapped up into it. That's what we talked about for the past hour and a half plus, is that the entrapment by seduction, the entrapment by hypnosis. I mean, everything's like trying to sell something. Here's the reality. And what you're saying is, okay, we're on the verge of breaking through this hypnosis, mass hypnosis.
Yes, we are. Yeah, and it, you know, it brings us again back to where we started out. The control system knows that this quote screen in our head symbolically exists, and it's trying to make sure that we don't know that, and thus it can get us to project what it wants upon the screen, i.e. our perceptions of life and daily experiences and responses, rather than doing it directly from self, and that's the whole thing. This is why the whole foundation of the control system throughout known human history, as we call it, is being to suppress anyone and anything that brings the true nature of reality and the way we're interacting with it to mass public attention.
And they do it with as an art form. They do it as an art form.
Yeah,
they don't do it haphazardly.
Yeah,
this is skilled.
No, it's the whole basis of what they're doing. This is why Bruno was burned at the stake.
Yes.
Because he was saying things that were vastly ahead of their time. This is why you know, so many people through history have been you know, tortured, taken out, ridiculed, because they're trying to suppress that which is communicating the information about reality that will set people free, because they'll now understand the game, and instead of the game playing them, they'll start playing the game.
Yeah. Well, I'll take us back to the very beginning when we jumped into human form, whether you think it's when the egg and the sperm got together or when the baby came out. When we came out as babies, our first desire and total main desire was breathing. If we can go back to that core source of first desire, that's the head of the Hydra. And if you can handle the head of the Hydra, if not, you're handling all these other heads that when you cut them off, they keep growing right back. But when you get to that one core desire, main desire of all desires in human form, there's liberation. And I feel when you shared that universal love is the only reality, everything else is illusion, we can't have that universal love unless we have freedom. And freedom comes first. And I don't mean away from anything, but in the midst of everything. And to me, your book rings of the calling out for freedom, because if we think we're free, boy, just by thinking we think we're free in our mind, we're not really free, because the mind doesn't know freedom.
The mind doesn't know freedom because it doesn't know
because it's in time.
Reality.
The mind's in time. It's either in our it's either in our past or our future. Oh, go ahead.
Infinite love is the only truth.
Yeah.
Okay. Infinite love is the only truth. Everything else is illusion.
Yes.
It says what? That the true self is all possibility, and the illusion is those different possibilities made manifest. And what's happened is we've been manipulated to identify self with the possibilities rather than identifying self with the all possibilities, the true core infinite one. And that's the revolution that is unfolding, and that is the revolution that is going to transform human experience and human society. It's not going to be a revolution of guns and weapons, not a revolution of barricades. It's going to be a revolution of perception. And that's removing the cause of the problem, because the cause of the problem is the enslavement of human perception.
And people basically who are from that non-centered standpoint beg for enslavement, entrapment in prisons, whereas the yogi put in solitary confinement in darkness would thrive for 1,000,000 years. And so to let go of the attachment for the identity fix. We're cause and effect junkies because we still believe we can control everything, but when things go faster, there may be no control in the old way. And so the letting go, it's like, again, skiing down a hill. To have control, you let go of control, and then we're in control. So in skiing down this land's topography of the mind and the biocomputer that and all the programs that are here, by letting go of trying to control it, we're actually in control of it by stepping back. And that's, again, what we all have an opportunity to experience individually as part of the big symphony. I mean, I like the games and the songs and the dances everyone does, because it sort of helps redefine the movie we're in. It gives us a picture instead of a blank whiteout snowfall where you don't see anything, or all dark and you don't see anything. I'm all for the yin-yang experience. There's something about that image that moves me. Do you know what I mean? That image of the circle with the light, but the little light goblet has a little dark spot in it, and then the dark has a little light in it.
Yeah, I know the symbol, yeah.
Yeah, there's something about that I find very moving, because it kind of goes in the opposite way of fundamental religion that wants to get rid of all the dark. Of course, they become the dark in trying to get rid of all the dark, but they don't tell us that. What a treat, man, hanging out just for a bit of time in a millisecond.
Yeah, it's been great, mate, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been great, Terran, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm wishing you the best, not just for the now year, but for when you go to Hawaii, you may not want to leave Maui.
Oh, I've been to Maui before. Yeah.
And the crater?
I've been over there before.
Have you been to the crater?
Yeah, I've been to the old that area and the volcano and stuff like that. Yeah, but it's interesting, this 2012 for me, because last year was absolutely non-stop. I was tour of Europe, wrote a book 15 hours a day through the summer, and then straight off to Australia and America and all around. But this year is, in terms of travel, going to be quieter. I'm going to communicate in a different way and probably get well on the road in 2013. And the only events I'm doing this year, public events, are 2 in Hawaii in March, I think one's in early April, and then this massive event at Wembley Arena in London in October 27th, 2012. So it's going to be an interesting year for me to see what unfolds, because it's going to be a different year, I think.
I saw a Muse concert on DVD at Wembley, and it was spectacular. And I can only imagine what it's going to be like as you fill it with lights and the sounds, because I know you play Muse when you come on stage.
Yeah, well, I have done in the past, because the talk and the way it's presented moves on. But it was kind of an anthem for our time. That was, but
Uprising.
It is. But Uprising. But what I wanted to do with Wembley, which potentially holds about 10,500 people. And we'll see, how it unfolds. But that's what it could potentially hold. Is that, and it's a big, Titan arena, and it has incredible potential for generating fantastic collective energy.
Yes.
So I've done it for that reason. And of course, it's on the outskirts of London, which is one of the great Illuminati energetic centers on the planet, and to also make a statement, a massive statement, by the numbers and the venue, which is not a venue where anything like I talk about has ever been presented before. In fact, this will be the biggest event of its kind in the world ever, in certainly in modern times, and I wanted to make a statement by that the world is changing. Humanity is waking up, and also we're not having it anymore.
Yeah.
We're not having it anymore. We're